Thank you. Well, take a second to think about your favorite piece of jewelry. Chances are it's your favorite piece because of what it means, not necessarily how it looks. A Jacksonville woman has designed a line of jewelry to honor her grandmother. Each beautiful piece a tribute to overcoming one of the ugliest periods in history. Juliet Dreyer reports tonight.
Life is a series of letters and numbers. They give us direction, tell us stories from the past. In one of the darkest eras of human history, letters and numbers became identities for the prisoners of Nazi concentration camps. A5674. That's the Jacksonville woman who started this story. Every piece of jewelry tells a story, a new title, a passion, a promise, a number.
This number means everything. This is A5674. This is my grandmother's tattoo.
Dana Rogozinski's grandmother, Ella, is a Holocaust survivor. Born in 1920s Czechoslovakia, Ella and her family were among the estimated 1.3 million people to cross through the ominous gates of Auschwitz. There, she endured unimaginable horrors.
She had to collect their clothing and their belongings and send them to the showers, which of course were the gas chambers.
Ella and her two sisters survived. Her brother, like so many others, did not. Rogozinski's Polish-born grandfather, Jacob, also survived the concentration camps.
My grandparents met in a displaced persons camp in Germany and were married within 2 weeks.
Ella worked at a local jewelry store for 50 years, a passion she shared with her granddaughter.
It's like they're helping guide me.
In August, Rogozinski launched Jacob Ella Jewelry.
The B is upside down, which the prisoners did as defiance.
A customizable collection that pays tribute to Holocaust survivors.
56512, and this was my grandfather's number.
Some might wonder why survivors and their families would want to remember those numbers. Rogozinski says the answer is simple. It's part of their story.
And she was happy to share her story, to teach what hate can do, so we can ensure that we only teach love to our kids, not hate.
And that's the whole goal. Make sure the stories remain after the survivors are gone.
So we can really learn important lessons from what happened so we don't repeat it.
Juliet Dreyer, First Coast News, on your side.
Love winning out over hate. Thanks, Juliet. A portion of all jewelry sales go to local Holocaust education and scholarships to send people to concentration camps to see the history firsthand with their own eyes. To learn more, go to our website, firstcoastnews.com.